Joining us now from our Washington bureau is Dr. Richard Land. He's president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission for the Southern Baptist Convention. Dr. Land, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has made strong statements condemning the attack. Is that enough?
Well, I think it was an excellent statement, and it was an excellent first step. But I think this should remind us of the evil we face. My theory is that sometimes when you accept moral relativism in your own life, you lose the capacity to really conceive of an obdurate and thoroughgoing evil. And in the Taliban and in Al-Qaeda, we're facing an obdurate and thoroughgoing evil. And we need to understand that. We need to understand that this is not a clash of civilizations. This is a clash between civilization and barbarism. These missionaries, these workers were there on a mission of mercy. Many of them had given their lives in Afghanistan since the early 70s. This is just savagery on really an unmitigated scale, and it shows the true implacable evil of this death cult that has taken root within Islam. And we should understand that while these aid workers and givers of mercy were Christians, 88% of the people that have been killed by the Al-Qaeda and Taliban terrorists have been Muslims who have refused to knuckle under to this death cult that has taken root within their faith and says, if you don't agree with us, we're going to kill you. This is the mafia on steroids.
Dr. Land, the U.S. is trying to bring democracy to Afghanistan, but there's no religious freedom for Christians. In recent months, members of parliament have even called for the death penalty for Afghans who leave Islam for Christianity. Have our efforts there been in vain?
No, I don't think they have been. We need to keep pushing for freedom of conscience. We need to keep pushing for the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Afghanistan is a signer of that international treaty that says freedom of conscience and freedom of worship and the freedom to change one's religion are universal human rights. We have made a marginal difference, a very important marginal difference, for instance, in the lives of women in Afghanistan. The plight of women has been significantly increased since we have been there and since the Taliban has been overthrown. But this is not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in a year. It's going to take a long-term commitment on our part. And on the Afghans' part. And I think one of the encouraging things here is that the Afghan army is beginning to stand up, just as the Iraqi army has stood up and is willing to die to keep this death cult from taking over their society again, as it did in the past. Most Afghans will tell you that life is better in virtually every way. Since the Taliban was overthrown. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good here. We, as a condition for our continued aid and assistance, should continue to push and push hard for the freedoms that we believe are universal freedoms. You know, these are not, our forefathers did not declare that these were American freedoms. We said all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that those include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Dr. Land, after the U.S. leaves, President Karzai might be forced to strike some kind of truce with the Taliban. What would that mean for religious freedom?
Well, it would be a tragedy for religious freedom. It would be a tragedy for every other kind of freedom. And that's why I don't think we should leave. We should be transitioning in the same way we've transitioned in Iraq as the Afghans are able to stand up for themselves. And we also need to be putting significant pressure on the Pakistani government. The Pakistani government, by this time, should understand that the Taliban is at least as significant a threat to the Pakistani government as it is to the Afghan government. And they should be cooperating more with us, and they should be rooting out the Taliban sympathizers within their own ranks.
Okay, Dr. Richard Land, thank you so much for your insights today, sir.
Thank you.